In this video, you'll learn how you can become a cloud AI engineer in 2025, one of the most in-demand and high-paying roles in the tech world today. So in this video, you're going to learn what the demand is for cloud AI engineers and what you need to do to prepare. I'm going to talk about the specific skills and certifications that you need to be prepared for a job in this industry and some tactics for gaining an unfair advantage when it comes to applying for jobs. Demand for cloud and AI skills is exploding. According to this PR Web article, 89% of organizations are going to increase their cloud budgets in 2025, driven by AI initiatives. And that's because for most companies, if they want to build AI-enabled applications, they're going to do so in the cloud. So, for example, Amazon Web Services. According to this article from Globe Newswire, we're seeing a growth in the industry from 1 trillion in cloud computing in 2025 right through to almost 3 trillion by 2030. So huge growth in the industry. And in this GeekWire article, Andy Jassy, the CEO of Amazon, says that AI represents for sure the biggest opportunity since cloud and probably the biggest technology shift and opportunity in business since the internet. So of course it's huge. Now, what's even better news for all of you is that according to PricewaterhouseCoopers AI Jobs Barometer for 2024, there is a 25% wage premium for workers with AI skills. How much is that worth to you? How many thousands or tens of thousands increase in salary could you gain if you had the right AI skills? And there are many open positions in cloud and AI. Solutions architects, over 31,000 jobs on Indeed alone, 10,000 for AWS solutions architects. For cloud engineers, 48,000 jobs currently advertised and 25,000 specifically for AWS cloud engineers. And for AWS cloud AI engineers, over 5,000 jobs currently advertised. So lots of open positions. Now let's have a look at the top 5 in-demand tech roles in 2025. We've got AI ML engineers in the #1 spot. Last year it was #5. Now it's moved right up to #1. Then we've got cloud engineers and architects, data scientists and analysts, cybersecurity specialists, and DevOps engineers. Now the interesting thing about these is the core skills across these roles are very similar. Now imagine if you're going to be a cloud AI engineer, you need cloud engineering skills. You need AI ML skills because it's an AI-enabled role. You need DevOps skills because AI ML engineers are using code pipelines like CI/CD pipelines to release their code. And there's going to be some data engineering in there as well. So if you have a selection of skills across these top 5 in-demand tech roles, including cybersecurity, because we all need to know some security fundamentals at least, then you're going to be really well placed for finding a high-paying job in the industry. And it's not just about AI-specific roles as well. Traditional cloud roles are evolving to incorporate the use and integration of AI and ML services. So basically everybody needs to have an AI skill set today. If you're a DevOps engineer, you're using AI-enhanced automation, maybe AI for predictive analytics or enhanced performance optimization. Solutions architects are building AI-integrated solutions, using it for enhanced decision-making and improved design efficiency. And of course, developers are generating code, testing it, debugging it, and really sort of improving and increasing their productivity using AI. Now, of course, many people are worried that AI is going to take the jobs, and it may be true for junior developers, for example. It may only be more senior developers who are actually using AI to generate code, and they have the experience and ability to be able to oversee the AI and ML services. However, many roles are still going to exist because they are starting to utilize AI for better productivity and better performance. So it's not about jobs going away, it's about jobs that are evolving to start using AI and ML. That's why you need to make sure you have that skill set. And guess what? The salaries are great too. Cloud engineers, 130,000 average base salary, 147,000 for solutions architects. Machine learning engineers, look at this, it jumps right up. That's that extra premium you get for the most in-demand skills today. And DevOps engineers at 127,000. So all great salaries for sure. So based on what I covered already, we know the demand for cloud and AI skills is high. There are many open positions advertised and average salaries are high. So why is it then that it's so hard to get a job today? And this is definitely true. I have people coming to me all the time saying, well, I've earned certifications, I've got some skills, I've applied for lots of jobs, and I'm just not getting the interviews. Now, there's a few factors for this. One of them is certainly timing. So this is the hype cycle for artificial intelligence in 2024. So this is last year. They will be releasing a new version of this year. It's not available at the time of this recording, but I wanted to show you this one because it's important to see the trends and what's happening over time as AI is maturing. So with the hype cycle, what we have is this dramatic rise here where we have the peak of inflated expectations. What this means is essentially the expectation of what the technology can deliver doesn't meet reality. So it's hype. Okay, there's lots of hype, and we can see prompt engineering and generative AI are right up there in the peak of inflated expectations. And that was last year, don't forget that. So that means that companies were getting very excited and saying, we're going to deploy this technology, and maybe even firing some people because they thought it was going to replace them. And then the reality set in that there were lots of limitations to that technology. You can see cloud AI services down here in the trough of disillusionment. This is where companies have become a little disillusioned. In reality, that's just part of the maturing of any technology. So companies are starting to say, okay, look, it's not going to deliver everything we expected it to right now, but we're going to start taking an approach to slowly integrating this into our company, into our services. Now, as we go through into 2025, you're going to see cloud AI services coming right up here into the slope of enlightenment. Generative AI is going to start coming up behind it. That's the really exciting part, because even though it looks so much less dramatic, this is where the technology has become more mature. There is now an alignment between the expectations of what the technology can do and the reality of what it can do as well. So this is where it starts to get broad scale adoption. That means lots of jobs. That means lots of opportunity for you. Now, we can actually see how this played out last year. This article here from AIM Research talking about how some of the big tech companies fired lots of developers, and now they're offering thousands of jobs and exorbitant salaries to bring them back again. Why? Because they thought that AI was able to replace these people. Guess what? That wasn't true, so now they're hiring them back again. So we will see now more job roles being advertised as the product, the technology is actually maturing and companies are starting to deploy it more. Okay, so now that we know that the timing is actually very good this year, the second piece, the most important one, and what I want to concentrate on now, is that most people are following the wrong approach. Now, it's not rocket science, but I'm going to give you the details of what you need to do to make sure that you have the right skills and certifications, and that you're following the right approach and have the right experience to make sure that you are able to get these jobs. Now, just before I do that, very quickly about me. Over 25 years in this industry, I've worked for lots of large consulting companies as a solutions architect, an enterprise architect. I've got many certifications. I started digital cloud training back in 2018, and we've trained over 1 million students. Lots of awards, lots of recognition, lots of great reviews, and we've managed to train people in some of the biggest companies in the world. And you'll find many testimonials across our website and other places from our Bootcamp graduates, who are the ones where we get to really help them to land jobs like working at AWS or working in cloud engineering and solutions architect roles. Now, one of my favorite quotes is that luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity. Okay, whenever you find anyone who is successful, you will see these two things. They saw an opportunity, the opportunity was available to them, and they were prepared to actually take on that opportunity. So hopefully at this point in the video, you understand there is a huge opportunity in cloud and AI this year, and going into the future, of course, as well. So you just need to be prepared. Now, the core elements of preparation are these: technology skills and certifications. So yes, you have to have the skills. Of course, that it goes without saying. Certifications are important. I do hear some people saying you don't need certifications and they're a waste of time. It's just not true. So employers are definitely going to look for certifications. And if everyone else has them and you don't, how can you be competing against those people? So when it comes to job applications, we want to make sure certifications are on there. You don't need a large number, but you do need at least one or two. And I'm going to talk about exactly which ones are the best certifications to get in just a moment. The second element here is experience. You do need to be able to demonstrate experience to employers. I'll talk a bit about that in a moment, exactly how you can demonstrate experience. Gaining the experience is the challenge. So for our bootcamp students, they build really strong hands-on skills because we actually get them working on real-world projects, sometimes in groups, sometimes individually, sometimes instructor-led, sometimes they're set challenges that they have to complete on their own. But that's the way to really build the type of experience that you'd get in the real world without actually having a job in the industry. So you have to solve that problem. You have to work out how you can build some experience rather than just having a certification, because employers know certifications just mean that you know how to answer questions. The third piece is personal branding and job search. We're going to go into some details there. Very, very important piece. So in terms of skills, IT fundamentals are essential. Everybody who works in the cloud needs to understand some of the fundamentals of IT because the cloud is essentially built on traditional IT infrastructure. So there's compute technology, there's virtualization and containerization. For operating systems, both Linux and Windows, you need to understand applications, different types of storage system. Networking like IP addressing, the OSI model, protocols, interfaces, APIs, of course, a big part of the cloud, databases, cybersecurity, and so on. So make sure that you get a rounded skill set in these fundamentals. They're essentially the building blocks of cloud computing. Now, Linux is absolutely essential. It is the most used operating system in the cloud. So you need to be very familiar. You need to know how to work with the command line, how to manage Linux, how to work with the file system and setting permissions, how to build out shell scripts. Very, very useful skill to have. Networking, firewalls, security, and so on. So essentially a rounded skill set on Linux. You don't necessarily have to be a guru, but you need to be able to administer Linux and work on the command line and build some basic scripts. Now, Python is probably the most used programming language in cloud computing and artificial intelligence as well. So building out some skills on Python, very, very useful for pretty much any job role in cloud. So next up, what about certifications? Now, before I show you that, I'm just going to talk very quickly about this excerpt from Pluralsight's 2025 AI Skills Report, a very interesting document. So here we can see that 95% of executives and tech professionals say that AI skills are the top way to ensure job security. 50% of companies give strong preference to job candidates with AI skills, and 20% actually mandate that you have AI skills. So that's really important to know. Hopefully at this point in this video, you really understand that AI skills are mandatory. You must have AI skills to differentiate yourself this year. It's going to increase your salary and it's going to help you to get that job. So that is what we have to concentrate on as well in certifications. For most people, starting with a cloud practitioner is a great way to learn AWS if you're starting from the beginning. But you really need to get to the associate level. That's much more important. So for example, the solutions architect associate or the developer associate, depending on the type of job role that you are looking for. Now at Digital Cloud Training, we concentrate on AWS. I strongly recommend that everybody concentrates on getting very good with one cloud platform. Don't go with all this multi-cloud stuff initially, especially for junior, even intermediary jobs, because you are mostly going to be working with one platform. You want to make sure you're skilled and specialized on one platform rather than having an average skill set across multiple. Next up, I recommend these two AI certifications. The first one, the AI practitioner, that's foundational level. So it's easier than the associate level certifications. Then you've got the machine learning engineer associate. Now, for those of you who don't understand AI, machine learning is a subset of AI. Machine learning is what's used for generative AI, for example. It's about training models and working with large language models. So it's a bit more specialized, whereas AI practitioner covers a broader set of services, anything that sort of mimics human intelligence. So for most people, if you're not going into an AI specific role, so you're not becoming a machine learning engineer, then you should get the AI practitioner. For anyone who's going right into an AI ML specific role, then you might want to start there and move on to the machine learning engineer associate. Next up, basically everybody needs to know Terraform these days. It doesn't really matter which role you're in. Most roles are using infrastructure as code, and most companies are using Terraform. You might need to know CloudFormation as well. We always teach that to everyone because it's part of the AWS certifications, but Terraform is very broadly used. Kubernetes, very, very useful certification. The Certified Kubernetes Administrator here. That's very useful for anyone who is working in DevOps. Now, you don't need all of these certifications, but I recommend everyone gets at least one associate and then an AI certification as well. And if you can, do Terraform. In terms of experience, employers expect you to bring real capability, not just theory. So you need to be able to demonstrate to employers examples of deploying real-world applications, how you solve problems, what approach you actually took, experience troubleshooting broken deployments, and automation with scripts and templates, and definitely some experience with Python, Boto 3, that's the software development kit for AWS for Python, and CloudFormation and Terraform for infrastructure as code. Knowing how to solve problems is the key, okay? Not just answering questions in exams. That's what employers in an interview are going to expect you to be able to do. So then the third and perhaps one of the most important pieces is personal branding and job search. If recruiters can't see you, they're not going to hire you. You really want to try and have them find you online. Otherwise, you're competing against everybody else when you submit your job application. So make sure you optimize your LinkedIn profile. Make it clear what you can do for the companies. Okay, think about it as a page to sell yourself. So when someone goes there, you're essentially selling yourself as a product. What can you do for them? Update your LinkedIn headline and about section to focus on the value that you can bring, and comment and share posts from others in your network, including influencers. That helps to get attention to your profile. And we recommend, and all of our bootcamp students do this, to share short posts or articles, 1 or 2 a week, about what you're building and learning. Use keywords that match the roles you want. Again, it's about being found online. Now, degrees and certs don't speak as loudly as real-world projects, so showcase your project work. Have some great projects, showcase them on LinkedIn as articles, on Medium, maybe some GitHub, some code in a GitHub repository, even running applications, and usually a mixture of these to make sure that we have the projects documented in different formats for different audiences like HR, hiring managers, and subject matter experts. Choose projects that are relevant to the job role you seek. Now, when you're applying for jobs, don't mass apply. Focus on targeted quality instead. So don't spray and pray. Tailor your resume for each job application and show how your experience solves that company's needs. Write a custom intro or a cover message. Very important, and don't use AI, or at least make sure it doesn't look like you used AI. You want it to look like it was written by a human being specifically for that job role. And then use your network or grow it to get warm intros where possible. So in summary, technology skills and certifications, make sure that you have those covered. You really got to be able to have some experience, some real world problem solving, so you can demonstrate to companies what you can do for them. And then, of course, that personal branding and job search. For those of you who are really serious about your career and moving fast into a high-paying cloud and AI role, we have our Cloud Mastery Bootcamp program. In this program, we follow that exact framework. We help you to build the right technology skills and certifications. We use scenario-based learning, challenge-based learning, and project-based learning. This means that you get experience. It's not just about following simple exercises. We really go into real-world group exercises, challenges, problem solving, and more. And then we have the Tech Career Accelerator. This is the program where you build out your personal branding, project portfolio, your resume. You work with our career coaches directly to get the assistance you need to make sure that you get that job and that you get a great salary as well. So we have live sessions every week, multiple of them, instructional classes, live lab exercises, group challenges, Q&A, career advancement workshops, guest speakers. We have all sorts of different learning activities, so on-demand training so you can work in your own time, practice tests, skills assessments, lab guides, and capstone projects. And in our career advancement piece, you'll work with our top career coaches and get all sorts of assistance on everything related to preparing yourself for your career in cloud computing, developing your personal brand, and making sure you can land that job with a great salary as well. Of course, you'll find hundreds of reviews on Trustpilot, dozens of recommendations on my LinkedIn profile from people who've been through the bootcamp. So essentially, if this program is something you're interested in, what we're going to do for you is help you to build differentiated hands-on skills develop a portfolio of projects and experience, and accelerate your path into a high-paying job. So if you're interested in getting direct expert assistance to help you with your career and accelerate your pathway into a cloud and AI role, then click on the link in the description of this video. You can learn more and you can speak to our team.